I'm Nikki, this is Jason, and this is our floating home curiosity. We set sail 4 years ago, and some 13,000 nautical miles later, we landed in the Kingdom of Tonga, where we decided to haul out for cyclone season and take a break to visit family. On our way back, COVID-19 hit, and we got stuck in Fiji for 6 months, and then quarantined for almost a month before finally making it back. So now, our poor sailboat has been sitting on the hard for over a year, and our first day back was a little shocking.
Oh my gosh. The enclosure is toast. Goner.
These used to be this color.
Not anymore. Couple little cockroaches.
Crap.
I'm so sorry. Whoa.
This was new line.
Not anymore. I'm so sorry.
But after a few dozen wasp evictions and a light bath, we're ready to dive in and really see what condition she's in.
Maybe we should hold against the arm. Maybe favorite plays our card.
It feels so good to be home.
So good.
Granted, she is dirty and she is musty, but she is still home. And of course, it has been an entire year, and not that we anticipated that, but it has been, and we didn't exactly prepare for that. So there are some things that we did that were great and have worked out and have definitely saved our tails, but then there were some things that were surprises.
Some good, some bad, like the surprise beer. I mean, that was pretty exciting. Bonus beer!
I know, right? I don't know if it's any good anymore, but it's like, surprise!
The bad surprise is like the toilet.
Not a good surprise.
So good.
Yeah.
That's kind of what we wanted to do today, is quickly walk you through and show you, well, what everything looks like.
What we got right, what we got wrong.
What we didn't even consider.
And what we still don't even know is lurking behind something yet.
Yeah, so keep your eyes peeled. If you see something that's like super bad, or you think something might be bad, tell us in the comments below, because we've got some time. We're going to be on the hard for a very long time.
No, don't say that.
Oh.
1 month. We're
1
giving
month.
ourselves 1 month.
1 month.
So kicking things off with a very obvious mistake whenever we got back, and we sort of knew maybe this was going to bite us, and it definitely did, which was not waxing the boat. Poor thing is parched. She is so dry and she's oxidizing, which means that the sun and the elements are just beating her down, eating away the gel coat, and it's washing away with every rain. So we have got a lot of work to do to get the mold stains out, just all the stains in general, and then just waxing to bring her back to life, because oy, oy.
Guess we should have taken the trampolines apart. Man, jeez.
Mm-hmm. Sun is brutal. I don't know if you would call this one right or wrong. Either way, it's what we did. Some of these hatches have been leaking, so we did lube the seals, but that still wasn't keeping out the water, so clearly it was coming from somewhere else. So I just annihilated it with silicone. I put on so much that nothing could get through, and it worked because I put some tubs and stuff around on the bed underneath to catch any water, but there was never any reports of water, and there is no stains or mold on the bed, so clearly it worked.
We removed the Genoa so it didn't get damaged by the sun and get all moldy. We also removed the lines that were attached to the Genoa, but for some reason we did not do the main sheets. I don't know why. Let me come over here. I have no idea why we didn't just take all these lines and throw them in the stack pack. Didn't even cross our mind. We left the stack pack in the mainsail on purpose because, well, we didn't know where to put them. It rained the day before we hauled out, so everything was wet. We didn't want it to be inside because then it would just get moldy and disgusting, so this seemed like the best place to leave the mainsail and the stack pack.
And I feel like it was okay.
Yeah, I feel like it was the right decision. just, I don't know why we didn't remove these lines. It's just, well, you can't think of everything.
Absolutely perfect timing because we moved into the cockpit and a downpour came. Which brings me to our next point, which is the shade screens and the enclosure. I have no idea why I left them rolled up, so that's good. They at least weren't getting the sun damage, but I don't know why I left them up at all. They're so easy to slide out of here and remove, and I should have, and I could have washed them and then taken them inside, or even just set them inside. No, I should have just washed them and taken them inside because they were covered in mold. Thankfully, it's a really good, easy fabric to clean. So, not horrible, but could have been way worse, I think. And then we purposely left the enclosure on because it was already on its last leg. We knew it was dying. And if we took it down, then the cockpit had no protection, and our hatches that definitely leak back here as well were going to be potentially an issue. So we chose to just leave it up to protect the cockpit, and knew that they may not be usable when we got back, and they're definitely not usable.
Goner.
And it's a real bummer because there's no fabric here. You can't get things here. We'll have to wait until we get to New Zealand to
But whenever that reopens.
yeah, or Australia, or wherever we get to go next. Yeah. Assuming we get to go somewhere, the passage to get there will all be without any of this lovely protection that I'm talking about.
It's like a convertible.
I know, look, honey, I don't want to be a real sailor. They say don't buy a boat if you don't want to get wet, but it's going to be cold that direction. No, we'll be fine. You know.
The sail that we took down, the Genoa, we left in the bag, and other than having some mud daubers in here, it looks like the sail's okay. But we left it on the helm seat and it was exposed to sun, so now the sail bag is super bleached, so you can tell how much sun was pouring in. But this is the cushion that goes on the helm seat, and this is the cushion that goes on the bolster on the back side of the helm seat. We took the fabric off because we didn't want them to get faded like the sail bag and moldy and everything, so we removed them, we washed them, we stored them safely. But these guys, I don't know why we didn't think about it. We should have wrapped them in a dark plastic bag or got them out of the sun. They got annihilated, and now it's just falling to pieces. I don't know if it was a right idea. Yeah, it was smart to remove the fabric, but we should have just put this in a bag or something.
Thought about the fabric, didn't think about the cushion.
Nope.
Oh, but what about our other cushions?
Oh, it's the ones that Nikki painted 4.5 years ago with the chalk paint. We weren't worried about those at all. They withstand anything. They sat here in the cockpit and they're fine. They look like the day she painted them almost. That is legit. Like in the future, we might take all of our sunbrella material and paint it with a urethane coat because polyacrylic. She's the painter, not me. But yeah, that's legit. That stuff works. Way better than just regular sun protection spray.
Moving on down. See, now the problem is I can't remember why we did some and why we didn't do others, but there is a reason for it. I think because like some of these needed to be open outlets in case the bilge just filled up and in case they needed to flush something out. I don't remember. I just remember there was a reason. Good enough, right? But all the ones that we did need to seal up, we did. We stuffed Brillo pads up in there because we were told those are really good for keeping out mice and bugs and all of the wasps that tried to build nests. And then we put this awesome vinyl tape over the top of that, and it has held up exceptionally well. I mean, because really very little could get through there. Definitely no mice, and nothing's been chewed away, so hopefully those will be nice and tidy when we get ready to launch. Get ready to splash. Launch, splash, whatever.
We chose to store the dinghy under the boat, and mainly because we didn't want it to get damaged by the sun and the rain, and we took it off of the davits specifically because we didn't want the weight on the back of the boat or on the davits, because on a big rainstorm, if you get a couple leaves in there, it can cause this whole thing to fill up with water, and water weighs a ton, so it just sounded like a bad idea. And I think that was the right decision. But I did make one huge mistake. We could have just destroyed the engine, and it was stupid. I tried to make it work, but I just couldn't get it, and I was too much of in a rush that I just figured, oh, it's fine, it'll be fine. So the dinghy engine was tilted and kind of laying on its side. And apparently, if I would have had it laying on the opposite side, then oil could have leaked into the engine and completely destroyed it, is what I was told. Fortunately, I just happened to leave it in a way that it was okay.
On the side that was okay?
On the side that was okay. I got super lucky. So make sure before you leave your dinghy engine, just make sure you understand. And I'm telling that more to myself. Like, make sure you find out what is good and what is bad, and don't get flustered in the moment. If you're running out of time, make sure you take care of your crap. Does that make sense?
That sounded more like a life lesson than a dinghy engine issue, but we'll go with it.
Yeah. This was probably the most difficult decision we made, leaving the electrical on. Because we have lithium batteries, because we have a lot of solar, we felt like everything would be okay. Plus we had a person coming every week here at the yard. They would come once a week to kind of clean and wipe down and just double check everything. And I left notes for them saying, hey, check the battery power, check the water levels. And the reason we wanted to leave our electric on was, well, there's two reasons. I had a bunch of wine in the little cooler that I didn't want to go bad. And we wanted all the fans on, so the 12-volt fans and the 110 fans, because these little 12-volt fans, we were worried they might die or not move enough air. It's dirty, but it's still running. So we made the decision to leave all of our electric on, and I think it was the right decision because batteries also don't like to just sit there. So our batteries have been going up and down the whole time we've been gone. The inverter's been on. I was bringing in 55 amps of sun just a second ago, and we're at 98% on our battery. So by noon, this is gonna be fully topped up, and I think that's pretty much how it was the whole time we were gone.
Okay, this is a twofer. We got one part right and one part wrong when it came to the water. We decided to fill the tanks up fully because we already had somebody coming in once a week to check everything anyway from the yard here, which is an amazing service. I just can't even tell you how grateful I am that that existed. So we had somebody come in, turn on the water pump, open up the tap, and turn it back off. So it kind of kept everything exercised, and of course occasionally doing the bathroom faucets as well. So that's awesome because it kept everything moving and lubed and working, except the Activa. Didn't even cross our mind to make sure to put a note to please turn this one on. So eventually the filter's clogged up for the Activa because, well, it's filtering everything out. So all that stuff clearly grew a lot in there from not being run. And now all of that, well, it needs maintenance.
This is why you always install a shutoff valve everywhere you can.
Good to leave it all on, I think. It seemed to be the right choice. The tanks look like they're in good condition. All the faucets work and all the plumbing seems to be good, minus the Activa, but we can get it fixed. Okay, so what was that?
Speaking of water, the water filters on the Activa are clogged, and it makes me think about the RO water maker. I pickled it. I emailed the manufacturer and I said, hey, it turned from 4 months to 1 year. What's the scoop? Is it going to be okay? They said it's going to be fine, but I can only imagine in my head I'm going to get down there. By the time I get everything open in that engine room, there's going to be just like an explosion of mold out of the filters or something.
Like a jungle's going to pop out? Yeah.
It's just going to like... So I'm going to save the water maker and the engine reveal for another time. I hope you're okay with that, because I'm afraid, and there's a lot of crap on top of it, so I can't really get into it right now.
Just a little bit of scrubbing to do back there.
This fell off. I don't know if we ordered enough hatches.
I'm gonna say no.
Jeez.
How many times have we super glued that one already?
This one, 0. The other one, multiple times.
Alright, well then maybe it's got at least one super glue hold in it. In general, I cleaned everything. Cleaned, and more cleaned. And my final wipe down of pretty much every single surface was a mixture of water and baking soda, and a lot of baking soda, because baking soda helps with bugs, but it also is great for keeping mold at bay. So every cabinet, every surface, everything. I cleaned everything, and so it all kind of had this like white chalky dust on it, which was the baking soda. And it seems to have done the trick, because I expected, it was a long time, I thought there'd be a lot of mold, and there just isn't. And that's so exciting. And then I did make sure to take all of the covers off of all of the cushions, washed them, put them away in vacuum sealed bags. I did the same thing with all of our clothes, vacuum sealed bags with a dryer sheet inside to help with like smells, and then baking soda to also help with any smells or mold or anything that might want to grow, just in case the vacuum seal let go and then there was air inside the bag. So that was kind of my tactic with that, and it seems to have also worked, which is, again, such good news. Yeah, oh, and I left all the cabinets open, and then sprinkled baking soda and diatomaceous earth. Diatomaceous earth is kind of a natural, like, in other words, you can eat it and consume it. Some people do that for the minerals, but it's bad for bugs. It gets on their little wings and their little bodies, and it kills them. So, keeps the bugs at bay. Baking soda keeps the mold at bay, and I don't seem to have any major issues with either one. Okay. So whenever we saw this the very first day, we saw little bugs down in here, and we thought, oh no, it didn't work. Ah!
Sorry.
Are you good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. So we saw little tiny bugs in here, and we thought, oh no, it didn't work, and we've got a cockroach problem on our hands. But no, it turns out it's little teeny tiny
Grasshoppers.
Grasshoppers, thank you. Yeah, little grasshoppers. And that seems to be all that we've found in all the bilges and anywhere around. No evidence of like mouse poop or rat poop, and no cockroaches, which is almost unbelievable. So we're lucky. And it was just a few little dead grasshoppers, which probably came in while the guy who comes in once a week to air out and wipe down the general surfaces, again, amazing service, clearly works, is where they maybe came from. I don't know, but it seems like my baking soda and my diatomaceous earth is all still in place, and we don't have bugs, and we don't have crazy mold.
Oh, there's one thing right next to you that I gotta talk about.
Oh, I thought you meant like
a bug?
Yes! Oh, you made me panic. Okay. It's like, is there a giant spider or cockroach I don't know about? Oh, yes, you can talk about that. It's show and tell. Oh, joy.
My favorite place in the world to be, right here next to this head. Spent a lot of quality time here in the beginning of our sailing adventures. We were told to not let the toilet get dry. So people say leave a little bit of fresh water in there. So we left fresh water and a little bit of vinegar in there to help kill any bugs or any bacteria, is kind of what we had thought. And it helps keep the seals lubed, or so they say. But what we returned to is, I have no idea. It's like green, moldy, buggy, cakey mess down there. And yeah, it looks absolutely disgusting. But on the other hand, our composting toilets look perfectly fine on the other side of the boat. So, this will be fun to clean.
That's one way to put it. Fun. It's gonna be so much fun. I'm gonna let you do it.
The beauty is we flushed the crap out of it. Literally. But we flushed so much fresh water through everything, so there's no way it's like feces related stuff. It's just
there's no way. I think that might.
It's whatever. Just this segment is over. The good news is I don't see any leakage around there, so it's gonna be fine.
All right, with the beds, I did the same thing. Left the mattress covers on and sprinkled baking soda all over the surface of anything fabric, but especially the beds, thinking that, well, hopefully that would keep the mold at bay. And then whenever we got back, I could take the covers off, take them in and wash them. And so far, again, I am just like, I thought it was going to be so bad in here. Just with everything, all the fabric, all the walls, I thought it was going to be annihilated. And so, yeah, this is all very manageable. And I feel like that is shooting myself in the foot because there could be so many other problems we have not discovered yet. But surface-wise, like first impression is really good. It could have been so much worse. And this is all very good. So overall, not too bad. Now granted, don't get me wrong, there still are some spots that are definitely moldy and we still have loads of cleaning to do. But considering...
It's our first time. It's like literally the first time we've ever hauled the boat out and left it. I think we did a pretty good job. If you feel differently...
Definitely let us know because it means we've missed something really important. And speaking of important things, we still haven't gotten to the engines. I feel like there's stuff we just...
A lot to unpack.
Yeah, so we are not in the clear. There could still be major issues on our hands. We just don't know about them yet. But so far, it feels
Future episodes, it's going to be quite an adventure.
Yay!
It's going to be exciting. What did the Wynns do wrong this time?
That's kind of almost every episode. No. Yeah, so I feel like it's pretty good. I feel happy to be home and happy to have such minimal issues so far.
Yeah, I still think a month. We're shooting for a month, splashing in a month. We can do it.
Yep. We have a lot of projects to tackle, a lot of stuff to uninstall, reinstall.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
It's gonna be fun. But first, we have to
clean everything so we can get everything dirty.
Yes.
Then we can re-clean it.
But we have to clean everything so we can put everything away to make room.
It makes no sense, but it must be done. It is known. It is known.
It is known.
Winter is coming. Right? Am I a couple years behind on that? Bye, guys.